Hi, this is Janet Beth from the Writing Center. I'm going to spend this video talking about one way to organize your persuasive essay. In this video, I'll be talking about the Rogerian style, or Rogerian style. It's named after a person whose name is Rogers, so however you want to say it. All right, let's get to it. So the Rogerian style is really different from the other two styles in that after we talk about context, we talk about the other side first. We present what people who don't agree with us might feel. We say why they might be right or in what situations they might be right. And then we give our point and talk about why that's our point, in what contexts, in what situations, and why they're wrong, or really how they would also be benefited. Even if what they say is true, what are some good things? All of this is available for you to read in the resources at the Writing Center, but I'm going to go through a topic that I'm working on in a persuasive essay about essays. I'm a writer, what can I say? So that essays are a better assessment of learning, a better way to get grades in college than tests are. So I've got my point, the other point, and I've got some other topics here that I've brainstormed, some ideas and details that I want to include. And I want to think about how to organize that into my essay. I'm going to zoom out a little so we can see a little more. All right. So in this first section, my introduction, in Rogerian, I'm trying to be as objective as possible in this part. So tests and essays are both ways that learning can be assessed in college. That's pretty objective. And I can say learners and professors have different opinions on the topic. So maybe I just want to talk about learners in this paper. Maybe I want to talk about professors. That would be one thing. I hadn't considered that. Let's just talk about learners. So let's look at this. I'm going to talk about the other side, which is the opposing view. I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible. So I have this topic here that they're more about the class content. So I could give examples. I could cite examples of test questions compared to essay topics. Like, I want to say that tests are more specific and essays are more broad, and that's what people like about them. And some people feel they are less biased. Like, you are either right or you're wrong. And so I'll give examples of true, false, multiple choice. Okay, so this is the other side. After I've talked about the other side, I want to give the statement of validity and narrow their side down to the points where I think, yes, they are right. So from my topic, I want to think, well, maybe some classes, some like math, need to have specific content knowledge, where you either have to know it or you don't. Right? If we think about in nursing, right, our HESIs or NCLEX, it's a test. This is very specific information we need to know. Okay. And then maybe I want to take an idea about grading. This idea, I didn't put that here, but grades have to be earned some way. But maybe some professors aren't good at grading essays. Okay. So maybe they've had bad experiences. And I want to validate that by saying, well, okay, here are some cases. Maybe I have citations for these. Maybe I can cite anecdotal evidence, or maybe I can cite experts talking about this issue. Maybe there's some evidence I can find to cite in here. Okay, so I've given them their time. I've told them, hey, I get you. I hear you. But now I'm going to talk about in my point. And this one, again, I can be very general. And I want to say, okay, in the big way, I'm going to give my point. And I'm going to explain it. Maybe this is a preview of topics I'm going to talk about in my next part. But I'm going to say, okay, essays are better assessment of learning. Whether they're fairer or not fairer, or da-da-da-da-da, I want to talk about the assessment of learning. And so the context I'm going to talk about is in that I'm going to speak specifically about a context where my point is right. I'm going to talk about that we learn better through essays and that the skills we learn are more important than the skills that test taking has. I'm going to talk about higher order thinking skills, and I'm going to cite about evaluation, and I'm going to cite an expert who talks about the importance of evaluation, and critical thinking skills, and not just memorization. And I want to give more specific detail where I want to go into this idea of choice, that essays involve more choices. So we can pick things we're interested in and learn more. And I'm going to cite some examples of essay assignments. So I want to be like a concrete example of how I get to choose my topic or choose when I work, things like that. And I'm going to talk about that in the specific context, let's say, of GE classes. That I have to take a class that I'm not really interested in, but it's general education. Maybe I'm not interested in, but it's general education. It's a requirement. And so essays allow me more variety, more options of where I can. And so I've talked about, in my specific way, an assessment of learning. And now I want to, in this last part, a statement of benefits. So even if you prefer tests because of these reasons, what can you still get because you're doing an essay assignment? And if I look up at my ideas, I've talked about essays is less stressful and test taking is a skill. And I haven't really included that in my paper yet. So I want to include those parts. Even people who think they are fair, test anxiety is unnecessary with essays. So this brings me to the end of my Rogerian essay. Depending on how long the essay assignment is, will influence how much information I need to include in each section. I should probably include citations of clear examples and expert information, maybe statistics, in many, if not all, of these sections, except for the first one. Introductions don't have to have citations, but we want to include expert opinion and facts in all of these. Particularly where we're trying to be unbiased, we want to provide information on both sides that shows it's not just our opinion, but our supported evidence-based opinion that has led us to this conclusion. And as a Rogerian, we want you to agree with us too. I hope this gives you some inspiration for how to organize your persuasive essay, and I hope you check out the other ones to see the other two styles.